This is actually our favorite time to butcher. Amanda and I, when it's dark and quiet and cool, it's our favorite time, just the two of us. It's kind of like a date night for us. Oh. That's recording.
Plucks.
Plucks.
Said plucks.
You said plucks together. It's a couple that plucks together. Alright, so we're going to be butchering these first group of turkeys today. So I'm going to try to be a little more specific on this go around. We're only going to butcher about 15-20 today, but we have 200 total to butcher. There they all are back there.
He's coming. Coming.
Okay, stop.
That's good. That's good. Go there and go stand under that hole.
Come on, boys. Critical, from just the way that you walk up to the birds in the trailer, the way that you secure the birds in the trailer, the way that you walk it over, your demeanor. You know, we try and keep it quiet, we move slow, all the way up until, you know, the way that you put it into the kill cone, the very precise cut that we make along each side of the neck that is the carotid artery. Amanda?
Yeah, it's not big.
Oh yeah, nailed it. I always like to call it the jugular. Is that wrong? That's wrong.
You do cut.
It's the carotid.
If you cut the jugular, it's just gonna kind of just.
It's gonna leak and not
Cut the carotid. It
squirts.
yes.
You want squirt and leak. You want it all to be happening. And you know right away when that blood's pouring out right, the way that if you've handled it right, you've moved nice and slow, you've got in that cone, low stress, you've secured it, and then you make the right cut and that blood is squirting and draining fast. They don't move very much. See, not a lot of thrashing. In a second here, he will thrash. He's gonna kick his legs a little bit, but other than that, not much going on. Real peaceful. Probably about a 25-pound turkey right there. No one's ever butchered a turkey before, especially a larger one like this. You would know that that's really not much. When comes to the actual thrashing and kicking around part. He's totally gone now. That kicking and that, you know, that little bit of twitching that happens is he's totally unconscious at that point, but he is spending that last bit of muscle, the energy that's sort of stored in the muscles and in the nervous system. So he's just expelling the last of that's already there. He's not thrashing, he's not trying to get away. He's already unconscious and gone. So I think that's important to know. If you don't do it right, you stress them out, you don't put them in the cones right, you don't make that cut right, they don't bleed out fast enough, you'll know it, because that turn like a chicken with its head cut off, it happens right away. They thrash real hard. You end up with a lot of bruising on the animal. Plus you've stressed the animal out right at the very last minute, and that's not fair. So, you know, I talk about that all the time is you know, we take so much time when we're raising them. We put so much energy into raising them right. And so we want to make sure that when we get them to this point, we butcher them right. So, you know, from the cone to the scalder to the plucker to the actual gutting of the bird, that's the final step, just as important as anything. All pays off in the quality of the final product. It's quick, it's humane, it's the way to do it. Quiet. Kids are in bed. Just the two of us. That wonderful woman over there. The bird's this size. I can only do one at a time. Chickens only take about a minute, minute 15. I gotta run 2 sets on the turkeys. Their feathers are so much bigger and bulkier. I cut the head off before I put it in the scalder. One, because it just makes it cleaner, plus the head also likes to get caught in there. Take the feet off here, which I don't do with chickens. I take the feet off on the turkeys. Because the feet, they've got, you know, these big claws on them, and that can tear the skin. They don't really go around and around that well with the feet on. Make sure that the weight of the bird is hanging down there, and then I kind of bend the leg here, almost 90 degrees, a little less, and I look for this depression here. It's that part in between the two, the ball joint there. If you get it just right, you don't hit any bone, keeps your knife sharp, makes a nice clean cut. So put that pressure on there and make a nice cut. Comes like that. When there's more than one in there, they kind of bounce around and they help each other so that the feathers kind of get all, the fingers can get all in there. When there's just one in there, I gotta help it do the bouncing, or else it kind of can get stuck in one position. After it comes out of the defeather here, it's kind of that point where it went from, you know, an animal out in the field to something that you're gonna put on your dinner plate. This is really Amanda's department. She's the expert. I've butchered plenty of these birds, but she knows all the technical terms, all the fancy words.
No, you're not going to narrate for me?
I'm going to narrate when you start using those fancy words that nobody knows the meaning of. You're narrating.
You didn't warn me.
Yeah, you're narrating.
So right now I'm just taking off the uropygial gland, which is basically an oil gland that lives on the top of the tail. Chickens have them, turkeys have really big ones. It comes out of there. It can kind of make the meat go funky if you don't take it off.
You can see there's, it's kind of a dark yellowish color, so you know if you've got it all out. or not.
So you put a stab through the skin there and then just pull up. And then just use your fingers to pull the skin away. And the crop is just an outpouching of the esophagus, so it's just part of the soft tube that goes through the neck. The hard tube that goes through the neck is the trachea, or the windpipe, and we're going to pull both of these away and get them separated from everything else so that when we pull the innards out, they come out also. So there's the esophagus right there. Trachea is right there. And they're both going to come out together. Put your thumbs underneath. Just pull.
So she's just loosening all that from the neck so that when she opens up the other side to pull the guts and everything through, this part comes through the chest cavity or into the chest cavity. But the loosening of it is so that it comes free and doesn't tear or rip.
Down here, to enter the body cavity, we pull up the skin, make a stab through, and then pull out. You never want to cut in because you don't want to poke the gut and have a spill. You want to keep this as clean as possible. You want the whole GI tract to come out in one piece, which will help keep your bird a lot cleaner. So this is the gizzard right here. It's a good handle on a turkey to start pulling things out. Basically, I'm using my hand to pull the lungs and the liver and all of the insides away from their attachments to the body so that when we pull them out, they all come out together. See, there's our crop. Lungs, heart. You want to be left with, so this is just fat, we're going to leave that behind. You want to be left with just this, which is the colon, and we're going to cut that out. So you cut on either side of the vent, and then underneath.
Evacuate the insides of any remnants, get it good and clean. It's okay, I can edit this. There it is. There it is. All right, there we go. We did it, honey. Late night turkey butchering on the BORKSTEAD, Brush Arbor Farmstead. Getting these turkeys ready for Thanksgiving. Anything else?
Shower, temper shower.
Maybe a shower.
Hot shower.
Then bed. And then all over again tomorrow. This is kind of like the honey hole for mist feathers. That's where feathers go to
Wing web.
die.